Hey guys, welcome back to Green Chat. My name is Cleeze, and today we are going to revisit cash shops, hopefully to finally slay this beast. We'll see how it goes. Green Chat. Alright guys, welcome back to Green Chat. My name is Cleeze, and I don't know why I do that. I always say like, hey, welcome back. My name's Cleeze. Just so you know, twice. My name's Cleeze, and this is Green Chat. This is where we talk about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. So in starting, I'd like to kick this topic off with a little something I've noticed. And you guys, some of you may identify with this. Some of you may be like, what are you even talking about? So in specific, what that is going to be the lens at which we view games and their success, or what we think is good for games, or just kind of that general idea. So hear me out for a second. Before, back in the day, we used to think, hey, this game's good or this game's bad. Or reviewers would be like, hey, this game's good or bad, or whatever. I don't want to go in the weeds too much with this concept, because I think I'm going to go more into it in a different video. But what I've been noticing is we've been more interested how games do financially when rather than how fun they are. Or we seem to be more interested in features that would be giving sustainability to a game. Like, oh, let's put it in the game because it's sustainable. I know this episode is about cash shops, and we're starting with that. And you're like, oh, no, duh. But even take cash shops out of it. Look into it in the perspective of just like, is this game good? Is it at the top of Twitch? I think we misperceive that. I think I've been misperceiving that for a while. I thought Twitch was a bad thing for a while. Anyways, I don't want to go. Here I go again. Basically, I just wanted to cover before we started this cash shop talk is the way we perceive a game, right? Could you put something into a game that's extremely lucrative and would make the game a lot of money that could be very bad for the game? And that's my point, is absolutely. And then when we view a game, it screws the way that you may, or it screws with the way that you may view something. Is it good for the game or bad for the game? Or why would you not want this in the game? It's going to make it extra money, stuff like that. And I guess my goal today with this video is to show you how putting something in the game, just because it might make it more money, could actually be very bad for the game. And on the surface, that statement that's very simple is very obvious. You could I think you could come up with many ideas in your head of why putting something in the game that makes money would be bad. It'd be like, no, duh. There's plenty of those examples. Even this one, cash shops. But I think the conversation stops there, where it should keep going, right? If that doesn't make sense, I'm going to get to it. I keep talking about the sensibility of this video, and I'm going to stop. So basically, that's covering that. When you look at a game, is it cool or good, or is it bad? Cash shops bad. What cash shops bring may be cool, like little bunny ears or little silly stuff. People might really like that, and there may be a way to deliver on that. That isn't with a cash shop. But the conversation again stops there. It goes like, well, you should have it or you shouldn't, right? Or you could drive it somewhere else. So let's crack into it, all right? Let's get into the getting nit and gritty. I always like saying that, nit and gritty. So ladies and gentlemen, what brought me to this topic of today was the post by Sugar Cane. I almost thought this was a troll when I read it. So Sugar Cane, thank you for posting this. What I mean by a troll is it reads so like, I think this would be a great idea. Just saying, be great. It was just, it was a good read. I enjoyed reading it, and some people were like, "Oh my God, you're bringing up cash apps again." Which, again, Sugarcane is a new user on our forums. Welcome, Sugarcane. And this is what Sugarcane posted. Hello, folks. It's probably already been discussed, so apologies. I'm new, so nobody's going to throw down well, why don't you hit the search function, man? Anyway. But I wanted to put this in the radar for consideration. MMO players are typically vain folks. Vanity. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know why I did that. More so if they're invested long-term in their characters. Totally agree. I am super on the horse of I love looking a certain way. I'm like, oh man, all right. They nurture the way their character looks, more so if they can fully customize the appearance. I hope this new MMO offers the ability to have have a wardrobe function. You can have an ugly piece of gear. You can override it with a pretty piece of gear that you like, along with the ability to customize your own colors for your pieces of gear, and not just one color, per piece, but multiple colors per piece if that's possible. So what that would mean is like the strapping could be one and the main piece could be one, like, one piece has multiple palettes for coloring. And storage is typically a huge issue because you're collecting all these different pieces that can appear as something else. It would be nice to have a separate storage panel for crafting gear, adventure gear, and in-town gear that you could swap out with a toggle depending on your needs. You can also earn a lot of extra cash for the game by selling the skins that function in the wardrobe appearance. Sorry. So I hope it's something you are considering for Pantheon. Thanks for listening. P.S. Is it possible to bring Vanguard's diplomacy game back? I've been hearing a lot about this diplomacy. If any of you could mention in the comments what diplomacy was like or what it even is, I have no idea. I guess I can go look it up on their website. But if you feel kind, you should actually make a video about it. You should start a YouTube channel, make a video about diplomacy in Vanguard, because it comes up all the time, and you'd probably get like 1 million views. I love and missed that a ton. No other game had it. End of post. Thank you, Sugarcane. By the way, Sugarcane has had 15 posts. All right, so let's look at one of the responses to Sugarcane's post, which another guy named Derek said, good Lord, this is a slippery slope to microtransactions. I really hope they don't do this in the game, which I think we all know that they're not going to put this in the game. But Sharon responded with this sentence. I'll kind of help it out after I read it, okay? No, it's not. No, it's not a slippery slope. Advantages are a slippery slope. But buying that cute outfit hardly does anything but enhance their character's look while supporting the developers more than a common subscriber. I guess the sentence actually is pretty well structured. Sorry, Sharon has 20 posts. Derek, 51. I like just saying that. I don't know. So this is what I want to respond to, is the conversation just continues in this direction, right? Slippery slope, not slippery slope. What's the big deal, guys? What's the big deal, right? And that's what this video, that's what we're going to get into, okay? That's what we're going to cover down on. And I feel like it's important because simple things like this go in directions where it could go in a very positive way, and that's where we can't have conversations with each other. Oh, we can. We're having a conversation right now. But we could have the conversation and not be so hesitant. You could pick out of something terrible good things. I guess I'm starting to realize this lately, that you really can. And that's what we're going to do today. Before we do, though, I'm going to digest this in the sense of my concerns, okay? So my concerns with this would be, if you do have a cash shop in this game, or a shop of any kind, transmog is the big elephant in the room. And yes, everybody wants to make their characters customizable as possible, but you should have to earn that. Yes, you could earn real money in real life, and that's you've earned that money and you're spending that money to the end. But I think the purpose of these MMOs, some of them not so much, is a way for you to earn something in a space where you can be on equal footing with everybody else. Man, woman, child, adult, 60-year-old man, 20-year-old Olympic athlete, you name it. Dog with a really enhanced brain from a scientific lab, which I would totally not support because that sounds terrible to do to an animal. You go through it. And that's the power of these games in the draw, is that ability to build yourself up and represent yourself how you'd like, and have your representation reflect your effort. Okay? So let's just kind of talk about transmog for a second. Transmog really makes sense after like 5 years or 8 years of a game's being released. I think if they put it in right away, already the development team, like, think about this, working at Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, just think about this, like, not to say this should be the reason you don't want transmog in the game, but let's say you're a designer for the armors in the game, and immediately upon its release, you've got to design all these different armors, and transmog's in the game. People are going to drift towards certain armors, and you got to draw all these terrible looking armors. Like, why are you even making terrible armors? Why are you doing that? Or, maybe everything's got to look great. Basically, history has kind of shown that when transmog enters in a game, armor sets don't seem to matter as much to that game, because they know you're going to invest in spaces that you want to. You don't have to go over here and do certain things to acquire certain looks. They don't have to put effort into their raid tiers, appearances. They don't have to do that because they won't be grilled about it. Like, let's say there's no transmog in the game, and let's say there's like a tier 1 in this game for raid gear. Would it be that important that it looks that great? You could be like, it doesn't look that great. Kind of disappointing. No biggie, because we can transmog. Versus, oh man, I want to earn that so bad. Like, it's something you have to move towards and earn. And I think that's part of the drive in this game, is they don't want the transmog in. It's because it gives you drive. You intentionally look like junk, like you're, some not run-of-the-mill awesome dude, because they want you to have the ability to customize your character and nurture their looks through the effort you put into the game. So they want to have good looking stuff, but they want you to earn it through the game, right? And I think transmog takes away that part of that. It takes away part of that. There's a lot of we are not going to agree on the transmog thing. It's just not going to happen. So the developer is going to make that choice. You could, go for it. Protest transmog. I'm in the area where I think transmog is terrible, but I wouldn't let that destroy this idea. Right? That's where I still have the idea of this can still be part of the game. All right, and let's jump into another reason why it's not great to have a store in a game. These are just, kind of just coming up with some reasons to kind of give both sides some credence, I guess. Just like in Harry Potter. But I guess that's actually Fantastic Beasts, whatever. If you don't have stores like this post is asking about, is you could always look terrible if you're just an average casual player in Pantheon Rise of Fallen. Like, you may never actually look that great because you don't have the time to invest to look great, and you'd rather use cash. And I think that's where I'd push back and say, that's so important to you, this game might not be for you. But I would think you should try, because you may get to the point where just looking like that's okay, and you actually have fun, and you may have fun just making yourself look a certain way. And it doesn't have to be the best, you don't have to be the worst, you don't have to be the top of the mountain, but you can be happy with who you are. And I think that's what's important most of the time, because not all of the time can you be the best looking dude on the street or best looking woman on the street. This also kind of ties into scarcity to loot. Not going to spend a lot of time here though, but transmog takes away from scarcity to loot, at least the way the loot appears, because that's very important. That takes away from a type of progress that you want to have in games, and MMOs have been taking in other games lately, and I think it's been killing a lot of drive for players. But scarcity loot, super important, and this kind of fringes on that, having a cash up in there. Because appearance alone fringes on that. You may disagree, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I probably will do another video on scarcity loot alone and how it can affect the game. It's insane how it just trickle downs and it affects everything. So to kind of wrap that up, the majority of players in Pantheon Rise of Fallen will probably look, they may look cool. They're going to be putting cool armor in it, but you're not going to be top dog. You may be looking at somebody and have like, oh man, I really want that. And it's kind of what they're trying to go for, right? At least I think that's what they're trying to go for. Now let's cover down on the money side of this, okay? The money that Pantheon Rise of Fallen will get from cash shops, I'll bet a lot. Does it give them more control? Or does subscriptions give them more control? Or pledges or donations and stuff like that? Sure, they need more money, but how you get money is important in anything in life, right? If you get money from stealing, or if you get money from asking for it and people giving it to you, or you get money from charging a service, X, Y, and Z, right? I think cash shops is kind of leaning towards which one of those examples you could try to take a pick. Because you yourself may be an adult, you may be totally in control of your environment, and that's fine. You have the control to be like, no, I'm not going to buy that. But what about some 12-year-old, 9-year-old, something like that. Now, this is why I really don't like cash shops in general. Not to say that we should be worried about what other parents are not doing for their children and controlling that stuff, but Pantheon should be 100% worried about that. I think a lot more gaming companies should be more worried about that than they are. I think it's insane. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. I just did. I just did a little bit. But I think subscription is a much more clean model, again, because you want to earn what you get in the game, right? You don't want to, just because it gets the game more money doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, because you take away from the game by giving it more money. In this instance, through this method of giving it more money, through cash apps. Kind of eat away at its soul. Another thing is, in the frequently asked questions of this lovely site, they cover down on specifically cash apps. So with that, they say, sorry, I kind of jumped to it. Because of this, Pantheon will not be a freemium or a cash apps or have cash apps. Building your character and advancing in game will be based on time invested and tactics used, not on how much money the player has in real life. But I think they're going to, this could always change, but I think they're really not going to have cash apps in the game. So what I think is kind of interesting is, I think people are more willing to say a statement like this: no, it's not an advantage. No, it's not. Advantages are a slippery slope, but buying that cute outfit hardly does anything but enhance their character's look while supporting the developers more than the common subscriber. Okay? People will be more ready to jump to say that statement versus when Pantheon asks for money in other ways, more reputable ways, via pledging, like just straight up asking you for money for nothing, or a merch store or something like that. I know I just saw a tweet today or something about a merch store. I don't really tweet. Actually, I saw it on YouTube. Just kidding. I didn't get no tweets for here. No tweety, hey. But, and I don't want to make this look like I'm totally like blindly just give these people money. No, if you agree with what they're doing and you want to see them succeed, give them money. You just give it to them versus whatever. And then once they've built the game out, then you can subscribe. But if you want to push for a cash app, I'd rather you just, I'd rather Pantheon personally just set up some kind of weird donation point. Like, you want to give extra money, even though that's weird. But I think they should just go with subs and then cut it there and then have more control and deliver more. I feel like subs is a more ethical product. I just do. And any other payment methods that come in, I don't think VR could be like, hey, here's the sub model, we're ethical, but also here's cash apps if you really are into this, right? Are you going to do both? Some people do, but it's a tough thing to balance. And I think with subs in the game, or that being their model, until they consider stepping away from that, they can come up with something new. But in the meantime, cash apps just shouldn't exist in this ecosystem. Okay, now let me get to how we can have this in the game. How can you have a shop in the game that provides the items that allow you to customize your character? Okay, you can have vanity items in the game sold from vendors in the game, like top hats. Like, let's say I want a top hat with a blazer, with some really tight slacks, you know what I'm saying? Some French, like, square-toed, on the front shoes, little poke up, like, whoop. I want all that. I can get that from a vendor in the game. Or they can put quests in the game just for these items, so I can dress up in town and go to a party, or I can go to the local guild meeting at the inn. Whatever I want to do. They should have these items in the game where you can dress up. Or bunny ears or whatever. During whatever. It needs to fit the lore. It needs to be able to be created in this universe. Like, there needs to be something that's like Easter. Maybe they could mix it in there. I don't know. Maybe dwarfs celebrate Easter. I don't know. But you could have a way to make your character look awesome at parties and get-togethers, and because there's gonna be a lot of role-playing in this game, and I think that should be in there, right? From an in-game store, no cash. You earn it in the game, and it should be not easy to get sometimes. Right? You can have a really cool feather in your hat, like Peter Pan, whatever, And that's maybe where this conversation could have gone, but instead it was like this or that, money or not money, blah blah blah. I think these type of things, that's where I would say, hey, I don't think we should have a cash app. How about we just put it in the game in a vendor, and you can earn it in different ways. Maybe at the deepest part of a volcano, there's a place to forge, super golden something, like a vest of pure gold. I was going to say something like big bling and Happy New Year glasses or something, but you could have this kind of stuff in the game and it'd be super fun and really cool. I don't know if this video is informative or not. I feel like just often too much we do pushback and we value money too much, or we don't value it enough. It's like we want to value it when it's making the money, but the way it impacts the game doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't add up. So I didn't use my triangle this time. Where's my triangle? Here it is. Look at that. I had this in the last video. I think it was the last video. But you know, the more you, I'm not going to spend long on this triangle, guys. I'm just not. I know you're like, oh my God. But the more you have features that fill up the side of the, you know, oh, it's so dark over here. The more features that fill up over here, take away from the game or the players. And what I mean by that is if you're going to play something on this triangle, if you're going to play something on there, yeah, money's great, but there's no way it's not a give or take. It's impossible to achieve that. Everything's a give or take. Subscriptions a give or take. How many races you have in the game is a give or take, right? You got development time. How much time are they going to put into that? Yeah, everything is, right? But some things more than others. And I think especially cash shops have a way of really poisoning a game's ecosystem by taking up a lot of the weight over here, and it kind of tips the game's value to itself. That makes sense. Like the way the game represents itself, the value it brings to itself is diminished. So with that, guys, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to close this one out. You know what? We'll probably talk about it again. But I just wanted to really quick cover the whole, when you perceive something, money, does it mean better? No. Is it good or bad? Cash Shop's bad. Cool items in game that make you feel good? Sure, they're good. How could you implement them, right? You can think about things like that, and it's okay. With that, guys, I'd like to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate you stopping by and checking this video out. If you did like it, please leave a little thumbs up and a like, and subscribe. And if you super liked it, you could help me out by sharing this with somebody very close to you, or super not close to you. Find a total stranger and be like, hey, yo, check out Green Chat, bro. Check it out. And that would be really helpful to get random weirdos in here. But with that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again really soon.